Hello again, whiskey friends. Thanks for joining everybody for another Tuesday discussion. Here on Tuesdays, we do like to give video responses to questions and comments we're either getting on YouTube, Instagram, or from our wonderful Patreon community. Thank you so much for all your support. Now, I'm actually kind of cheating today because I didn't receive this question or comment from either of those three paths. I actually got this in person recently at a bourbon meetup in Bardstown. That was one heck of a time. People kept asking me questions about Russell's 15 year and what I thought of it. And I actually hadn't had it yet. Now, Kelsey had sent me a Russell's 15 sample. I have not tried it before. It is in this blind flight that I'm about to do. But to just put a little twist on things, people were asking me if I liked Russell's 15, if I liked it better than the 13, if it was my favorite Russell's of all time. And I thought, you know what? Let's put this to the test. So I'm going to compare Russell's 15 to Russell's 13, my favorite Russell store pick that was 10 years old. And then I do have a special bottle in my collection, the Russell's 2002. That is a 16 years Russell's that came out in 2018. So I'm going to compare those four and see which one emerges as my favorite Russell's expression. So thank you for joining today, whiskey friends. Let's kick off the show. All right. So for today's flight, I'll be going through this and describing the letters. I do have this flight poured in my ABCD glasses from the Bourbon Junkies, and I've got a piece of paper here that has the solution, so I will keep that reveal to the end. Now, right off the bat, I mean, if I kind of hold some of these up here, so this is A and B, this is C and D. What is very surprising to me, right off the bat, now that I'm looking at this, I cannot tell based on color which one is which. So from the 10 year all the way to the 16 year, it is not giving me any preview, which is something I was afraid of going into this. Now, I put the pick in there. Let's go through the other bottles that I do have. So I have a Russell's pick. This is one of my favorite Russell's picks ever. It is from the Mash and Journey Whiskey Club called Look at the Birdie. This one is about 10 years old and is, Warehouse G Floor 4 for those that keep track of those type of things, from 2020. Gosh, no, 2021. Man, time is flying by. But this is the Look at the Birdie. The other one I have is the Russell's 13. So I do have one of these in my collection. And I was looking at the laser code on this one. This one's the LLJL for those laser code nerds out there. But we got the Russell's 13. And then the one that I'm really curious on, right? So I feel like those two, I don't know if they'll be able to compete with this or not. Based on what people have told me, these are going to get shot out of the water. What I don't know at all, though, is how this release is going to stand up to it. So this is the Russell's 2002. This came out around 2018. It is a barrel proof Russell. So it comes in at 114.6 proof, non-chill filtered. In some ways, this is like the precursor to what the Russell's 13 and now the Russell's 15 have turned into. So very curious on this. And also, I don't think I've had any of these in the past year. So I am really going into this blind. I don't really have any preconceived notions about what's going to happen other than, of course, the oak profile. So let's get into the glasses here. I'm going to start with A, and then I will go through and rank these after a nosing round and a tasting round. Cheers, everybody. Glass A, I will say, doesn't come across as oaky on the nose, getting a whole lot of great fruits on this one. Not just cherries, but like orchard fruits as well. Good layer of spice there. All right. It's pretty good. All right. On to glass B. Oh, there's an oak bomb. So right off the bat, lots of oak, lots of leather, all the way to almost even a furniture varnish. A lot of cherry. Cherry actually reminds me of the Master's Keep 17 Bottle and Bond. It's got that deep cherry note. Little bit of orange on that one too. Okay. So that's got some good flavors getting beyond that oak. Now on to C. General profile is pretty darn similar. The oak is less intense. So that's probably the step down to the 13 right there on the sea glass. Getting cherry notes, that one's more of a maraschino cherry than that dark, rich, deep cherry. Um, Man, a little bit of orange too. All right, on to glass D. Oh, okay. So D comes across oakier than the others, but the oak on B kind of had that leather furniture varnish kind of vibes. I mean, this one goes real old, like old wood cabin, almost even with like a little bit of a porcelain note. Cherry note is not present on D, even though the oak is there. Man, and just like a lot of vanilla on that one. I wasn't getting a blast of vanilla like the other ones there. So overall, a brighter profile. There was like some citrus coming through. All right, let's get in for a taste. I'm going to start with glass A. Now, I will say off the nose, glass B is winning, probably followed by C, and then D, and then A. A is probably just outgunned. I'm guessing it's the pick. Oh, glass A on the taste is lovely. Good amount of fruit. Not a whole lot of spice. Getting some almost chocolate notes there. Oh, a lot of fruits though. Going right back to the cherry and orchard fruits that I called off the nose. Whew. Oh, that is quite a bit. All right. Let's go into glass B. This is the one I'm most curious about here. Man, now going back and forth, the oak on this is even more lovely. Mm. Oh, cherry bomb. Oh, man. Cherry bomb, rich, deep oak. A little bit of citrus and orange on the finish. It's actually hitting on the tip of the tongue. Gets brighter as the finish goes on. Ooh, that is fun. Oh man, that nose even hits harder now that I took a sip of it. Yeah, that's lovely. Okay, B is lovely. Let's move on to C here. So this is gonna be glass C. Glass C is getting more muted. Oh man, maybe I got the pick wrong. What if A was 13? C is getting a little more muted now that I've been sipping through the others. Oh yeah, it comes across brighter. It's got a good oak punch on the back end though. Man, it's coming really citrus forward. Initially, I was getting cherry, but man, now it's super spicy and citrus forward, especially on the finish. Oh, that's kind of interesting. Okay. The fruits on it too. It's not like a cherry note, it's almost a fruit punch note. Fruit punch that then drifts citrusy. Man, the oak isn't coming through that much. I was getting a bit more oak on A than I was C. Okay, so I might have that wrong. We'll go back and compare those two. All right. Now let's go to D. D was the one that felt old, but the fruits were less pronounced, and I was getting more of like a porcelain base than maybe say a leather and that furniture varnish. It was coming across more old wood cabin with a little porcelain. Still coming across that way. There's a little cookies and cream vibe in the back of that, though. Lots of fruits again. Man, the fruits are really popping today on these turkeys. Hmm. Oh, man. Whoa. That one blooms on the finish. Considerably older than any of the other three. Even though there'd be only a 1 year age difference between these. The oak on this one, sample D, is a totally different level. Oh man, it's even hard to get around it. Let's get some more tasting notes in here. Mm. Up front, oh, that's a big pear note. Ooh, that is. It's so interesting to me sometimes when we get these older whiskeys that have a bright profile, somewhat with like notes like pears and the citrus and the rye spice, and then the oak comes in to darken that whole thing. Oh man, that pear. That is a spiced pear. Okay, these taste totally different, by the way. So we got the orchid fruits on A. We got the deeper, darker cherry on B. C drifted into a fruit punch, and D goes into a pear. Wasn't quite prepared for that range of fruits in this particular lineup. I think, man, D's finish is the best. I'm still overwhelmed by the oak on D right now. I think the race is between D and B, but then I don't know what's winning between A and C. So if I had to guess, I am debating between the store pick and 13. I don't know what's going to happen there. And then I'm debating between the Russell's 15 and the Russell's 2002. That's the only thing that makes sense based on the levels of oak. So the 15 to 16 just come across tremendously more oaky. All right, let's get a lineup going here. I'm going to first do the comparison between A and C to figure out what's fourth place and what's third place. No, I'm pretty sure A is the pick. This one now on the nose, after tasting through everything, there is no oak emerging, and it's just a nuttiness. Nuttiness combined with that fruit and some baking spices. Still gorgeous on the palate. Honestly, a good amount of oak on the palate too. Still sticking to more of the orchids, orchard fruit. I don't know why I'm struggling with that word today. Orchard fruits. Man, even a little bit of melon. Gosh, the fruit range on all these is killing me. All right. One more sip on C, but I have a feeling A is in last place. Okay. Oakier on the nose than it was in that last approach. Definitely, definitely, actually, probably the most balanced between the level of oak and the fruits that are coming through. Once again, more of a fruit punch vibe, a whole medley of fruits there. And it ends more citrusy, more even orange leaning than what happens on even the older ones here. All right, so I'm going to go A as fourth, C as third. All right, let's do the first place head to head here, and then we'll get into the reveal. Thank you for joining me this far, everybody. I really don't know what's going to happen. Man, D's so much older. In a blind, I would say that D is like 20 years old. Like it comes way older than 15 or 16 years. There just might be some older stuff in that blend now that I say that out loud. All right, I'm going to go for a sip on B first. Mm. Now, B's lovely. B reminds me a lot of Generations 17 Bottle and Bond, but with a bit more proof on it. It's just got this deep, dark cherry note that I really, really love. And it ends with that cherry note too. Its finish is darker overall. Um, More of one of those, chocolate covered cherries, even. Now, the finish, though, I feel like the finish on B is much, much shorter than what happens on D. Last sip on D, we'll call a winner. Hmm. Man, so much brighter. It's so weird to say it's older and brighter, but it is citrus and pear forward. I wish that cherry note was there. I am going to blend B and D regardless what happens here. Finish on D is much more impressive. I like the flavor profile of B though. So it's like D is winning at a technical angle right now. B is winning on preference and flavor. All right. B is the winner of this flight. I'm going to put D as second. So let's do the reveal here. And I'll start with the reveal on what A is. Now, A, I'm guessing, is the store pick. C, I'm guessing, is Russell's 13. I'm guessing Russell's 2002 is D. And the Russell's 15 is in first place, I think. That's glass B. Let's see if I'm right here. Okay. Yes. Okay. I did get that right. So those flavor notes were definitely pronounced and distinguishable between these. So last place was the pick. Though frankly, not that far in last place relative to the dollar values on some of these. I mean, I guess this one would have been what? $80 in its time. It's a pretty good value for $80. In second place is the Russell's 13. So one thing that I think, if you do a 13 to 15 comparison, the Russell's 13, it just doesn't have a standout quality to take it above the 15. It does have a more dynamic, at least in this batch, fruit profile, but the oak will get drowned out compared to the 15. So then glass D was the 2002. So the one that was old cabin and had the porcelain notes on the nose was more pear and citrus forward throughout really the entire experience, but particularly on the finish. I will say the Russell's 2002 has a longer, more pronounced and interesting finish, but it is the flavors that elevated glass B, and that is the Russell's 15. So the Russell's 15 sample that Kelsey provided me. Thank you, Kelsey. I'll then now grade the rest of this half ounce that I have. This thing is the winner. So it does take the crown of then my favorite Russells. Great. Now I'm going to have to think about that one. I don't want to spend $300 on a Russells. Darn you, Kelsey. I was doing this to not spend the money. So that is the rankings there. I'm going to do a quick blend, though. I'm really curious. Let's see if I kill it. So this is a blend of the Russell's 13, no, the Russell's 15 and the Russell's 2002. Cheers, everybody. Thank you for all those that stuck with me this long through this episode. As I'm going through this on this last one, let me know in the comments too. Are you surprised by the results? Are those what you expected? And what do you think of the Russell's 15 if you've gotten your hands on it? Oh, that's pretty good. Man, it adds the oak. It adds a bit of nuttiness too. I think it kind of killed the fruits though. I don't know. I think they're better on their own now that I say it. All right, we're this deep. Let's just keep let's keep the madness going here. Blend of all four. Cheers, everybody. Thank you for joining me for this episode. If there's any other comparisons of this sort that you would like to see, let me know. I love doing blind flights. Blind flights are the way that you learn. If you're not doing these at home, totally suggest it. Have your wife or a friend or somebody put the blind flight together. Double blind is better if you don't even know what the bottles are. Ooh, that's interesting. The oak profile survived the blend of all four. Yeah, kind of killed the palate a little bit. They're better independently, but that's why we experiment. So thank you for joining today, whiskey friends. Once again, let me know what you think in the comments about any of these pours, and we'll catch you on the next Tuesday discussion. Goodbye, everybody.